Okay, so we're on the play here. On the play, I don't like this hand. On the draw, I like it. Just because if we brick on our first land, then we're just going to be playing like a 3-bit inspector. And then if we brick again, we're just super dead. If we hit a land right away, we're in good shape. But I think we have a lot of hands we can mulligan into that'll be better off. We get a scry. Yeah, this hand's better. Because now at least we have a plan, we know what we're doing. And that's going to be what we're doing next turn. Since we have 2 basics, we can lead with the basics. Don't have to miss a drop to get the canopy untapped. Definitely lead with Copter here. Attack for 1. And I'm pretty sure we play the Lieutenant. Well, okay. Second thought. See, I was thinking of just for tempo reasons we'd want to play the Lieutenant. But now that we have another Copter, I'm skeptical. I think I might want to pitch the Lieutenant instead. Just play the other Copter. We're missing a point of damage, but the opponent's probably going to play a 3 damage instant to kill our Copter here. So we're just going to want to replace it. And we could play our land, and the next turn we could potentially sack the clue. Nope. Alright. I think I like pitching the Lieutenant here. As odd as that might seem. I like having, since we're going to have double Copter, we're going to be able to switch whatever we want into a better card. And so just hitting our land drop to get to the 4th land seems better. Now if the opponent doesn't have a way to stop this, this could be real problematic for them. It's possible we should have discarded the Grace Champion instead of the Lieutenant, so we could just play the Lieutenant and sack the clue next turn and crew both Copters. Nope. Not on my watch. That's what the opponent says. It's fine. Still got a lot going for us. Looks like the opponent is probably Jeskai control. That's my guess. Could be a blue-red Thing in the Ice control type deck. Could be blue-red Burn. Dynavolt Tower. Okay, so this might be the deck that top 8'd the Pro Tour. Okay. Alrighty. So we could try to gamble by sacking the clue. I think I like just jamming the champion here. Just to get the extra point of damage in. It's the extra 2 points of damage. See, when he enters the battlefield, other humans get +1/+1 in lifelink. So make the Thraben Inspector bigger. Let me activate the Copter. Take 5. So let's see, could have Spell Shrivel that makes us pay 4. There's nothing that would make us pay 3, so we're not really playing around anything. We'd rather just cycle the land to the Copter. We'd also want to sack the Clue. So we can start by doing this. The opponent clearly has something, either a removal spell or a counter spell, some way to interact with us. Can't activate the Fumarole just yet. And opponent concedes. Alright. So even though we saw the Dynavolt Tower, I don't see that as a particularly problematic card. If they run the blue-red one enchantment that everybody draws an extra card on their end step, that's not a card that's particularly good against us because we're aggressive with a lot of low-cost cards. So I don't think the opponent's going to have anything that we really want to fragmentize. They don't look like a Smuggler's Copter deck, and so the onus is going to be on the opponent to present something to us that we want to fragmentize before we bring these in. Blossoming Defense could be good because they presumably have a lot of instant sorcery speed interaction, especially instant speed burn spells, especially post-board. So I'd imagine those would be pretty effective. Declaration in Stone, probably less effective. Thalia could stop the blue Gearhulk, which is a card that he could very likely have. Gideon could potentially be a card to bring in just for the attrition battle. The opponent probably has something, some type of creature, whether it be Thing in the Ice, Gearhulk, something like that. So I want to leave in some removal spells, but I think just 2 Stasis Snare is probably a good number for that. I like these cards that'll give us attrition, like help us in the attrition battles, like Smuggler's Copter, Duskwatch Recruiter, things like that. I don't expect our creatures to survive super long, so this guy kind of becomes less interesting to me. And Heron's Grace Champion is probably one of the weaker cards. Opponent might be trying to burn us out, but I don't know. I think that I want Blossoming Defense and I want Gideon. So I think I can cut. It's either the other 2 Militia Captains or some of these guys. We're bringing in more 4-drops, so I think I just want to take out some of those. I think I'd rather have the Gideons than the Grace Champions in this matchup. So Duskwatch Recruiter becomes a little worse with 22 creatures, but the ability in this matchup is considerably better than in other matchups, so we're going to try this out and see how this does. And this is Magic Online, so sideboarding probably doesn't work anyway, but this is what we're going to go for. Game 1, we decided not to get risky with the 1 mana or the land 1 land hand. Instead, we mulliganed into a pretty good start. Scryed a Copter to the top, curved out, and the opponent could not keep up and died after casting a negate and a Dynavolt Tower. So far, so good. Alright, so this hand kind of has that awkward situation of Vista and Village. We don't have a 1-drop, but we don't have a way to keep Vista untapped, so we could just lead with Vista, then Village, reveal Forest, play Lieutenant, next turn, play Forest, Lieutenant, attack for 3, they try to kill it, we Blossoming Defense, they take 5, next turn we can cast any card in our deck other than a 4-drop, but we have 3 lands, so if we draw an untapped land we can play Gideon. If we draw anything other than another 4-drop, we would have a continue curving out. So I think this is a keep. We only have 6 1-drops in our deck, so it's not like we can just auto mulligan into 1-drops, unlike the deck I wrote about last week where it's the mono white humans, where if you have 20 1-drops you can reliably mulligan into it. Opponent's in the tank, so it clearly has a removal spell. Yeah, Harness Lightning was the thing that I thought was going to happen to our Copter last game, but did not have it. Ah, yes, that card. That card's pretty good. But one of the advantages of only having 1 creature out is that if the opponent plays a removal spell, they can't just like ping our Lieutenant. They have to actually use the removal spell on the Lieutenant. Like if we had 2 creatures, they could kill the other one and incidentally ping the Lieutenant. So they would have to cast some other spell, like a card draw spell. Yep, there we go. That is the card draw spell. The question is, do we want to protect it with the Blossoming Defense? It's probably just going to die to the next thing, unfortunately. It might have been better to just hold the Lieutenant. I think we just let it die, because next time we're going to play Gideon and make an ally. So then the opponent's just going to cast another spell and kill the Lieutenant again. Play the forest that the opponent knows about. I mean, if we were on the plan of embleming Gideon, we could have done it, but I don't think Lieutenant's that important. Oh, ouch. Oh, we boarded out our Declaration Stones, which would be good here. We could try to attack with Gideon. Now that they have 2 Weavers, So a removal spell could kill off both creatures, unless we kill a Weaver. So this is an interesting situation. We could just start making Knight allies, or we could attack with Gideon and the ally, probably blocks an ally. We try to Blossoming Defense it, uses Bombardment in response. In response, we use the other Blossoming Defense, so we kill a Weaver and a Bombardment for both of our Blossoming Defenses. Opponent takes 5. They just have the one Weaver, and then we could play the Militia Captain. That's probably better. I think it's close. I just feel like leaving the opponent with 2 Weavers is probably not the winning line. Like, the extra Knight ally is probably not going to help us a whole lot in that context. Might try to double block, which amounts to the same because we can only deal 6 damage anyway, but there's really no reason to single block. It's either no block or double block. I'm pretty sure it's double block, even if you don't have the bombardment. Opponent might be thinking Grace Champion here, but that only makes our guy a 3/3. Well, opponent's definitely considering what they want to do here. Probably doesn't put us on Blossoming Defense. I mean, if I was in the opponent's position, I would be thinking this is just Heron's Grace Champion, so I'm going to double block the Knight ally. If they don't use it, then I just eat the ally. And if they do use it, then okay, like I blocked his guy, it takes 6 damage or whatever, and forced me to play the Heron's Grace Champion. Now you can untap and use like another Harness Lightning on the Grace Champion and incidentally double ping the ally. Opponent's like, oh yeah, here we go. Bombardment in response. Got something for that. Yep. Didn't see that one coming. I think I do want to play the planes here. I suppose if we draw a Copter, it could come back. I just feel like if it's Thraben Inspector, sack the clue, draw into like, I don't know. Inspector, sack the clue, draw a 3-drop. Brutal Expulsion. Jeez. Okay. Alrighty. So do I attack for 5? I think I like attacking here. Opponent doesn't have a Fumarole, so we're not really in danger of our Gideon getting it. It's an interesting deck. he attacks, I don't know if I block. Alright, did not attack. Since Gideon is a human, it'll get the bonus from the lieutenant, so even though the opponent could brutal expulsion here, which would kind of blow us out, not really though, because if they bounce the Gideon and like kill the militia captain here and kill the lieutenant off the Weaver ping, then we'll just replay Gideon and make a token, which is like not the end of the world at all. Here it comes. Yep. Yes, that didn't work out too badly. Like the opponent definitely got the better end of that exchange, but not by a lot. Well, let's see what we get. Got a little freebie. Now that the opponent has Weaver of Lightning, we might want to bring in more removal spells. It's because that card is pretty good against us. Gideon Emblem is really good in this scenario, but Gideon attacking is also really good in this scenario, so I think I'd rather just keep attacking. I mean, the 1/4 body still holds off most of our guys, so I think just the 5/5 that's the thing that we care most about. I mean, if he takes 5 here, it's going to be in chump block mode. Man, Gideon was a really good card in this matchup. Blossoming Defense was okay. Gideon was the real star. Alright, well, couldn't beat Gideon. Good games.